Hey everybody, Brandon here, and I'm back with another action figure review. Today we're taking a look at some Spider-Man Homecoming action figures. I was really excited to see these figures. I picked them up at Target. They're about 20 bucks a piece. Two packs from Marvel Legends, the 4-inch scale for the new Spider-Man Homecoming. Um, really excited for this pack with the Shocker. While it is a comic book version of Shocker, it's definitely giving us some insight into what we're going to see in the film. They're drawing from the Spider-Man Unlimited comics, so we'll get to take a closer look at that. Also really excited for this version of the Vulture. We'll get into it a little bit later, but this version is a little bit different from the previous version of the figure that I have. So let's take a look. First at the Spidey Vulture box. Figures look great. The box art looks great. I've never seen a Spider-Man quite like that before. And you can see on the side too, something about his eyes. He just looks really cool. Same thing here. On the back, we've got a little bio for Spider-Man and Vulture. Pause it if you want to check that out. Looks really good. And then this is also, you can get Shocker and Spider-Man. And if we take a look at the other box, we've got comic book art for the Shocker and Spider-Man from Spider-Man Unlimited. The figures look great. We've got Shocker on this side and Spider-Man on this side. Taking a look at the back, the figures look pretty awesome. And we've got a bio there. And at the bottom, you can collect Spider-Man and Vulture. Alright, these figures look awesome. Let's get them out of the packaging and open them up. Alright, so now that we have these figures out of the packaging, let's take a closer look. First, at the Spider-Man figure from the Spidey Vulture 2-pack, I have to say, I was incredibly surprised. The detail on this figure is incredible. Really good likeness to what we saw in Civil War, and hopefully what we see in Spider-Man Homecoming. I must say, I mean, look at the feet. The detail is all there. If you're going to pick up anything from the Spider-Man Homecoming movie, I would definitely say it has to be the Spidey Vulture 2-pack. If we take a look at articulation real quick, Spider-Man is moving his head up and down, side to side. It's on a ball joint. We have movement in the shoulder, up and down, side to side. Movement in the elbow, although it's a little bit hindered based on the sculpt of the figure, but not terrible. Unfortunately, there is no wrist articulation. We do have an ab crunch, up and down, side to side. No waist articulation, that's also a bit of a bummer. But we do have movement in the hips, back and forth, on the side just a little bit. It's a little hindered, but not terrible. We do have double jointed knees, which is fantastic for posing. And we also have movement in the ankle on an ankle rocker pivot, which is also great for posing. So I really do like this figure. Not even looking at Vulture yet, I already know that this 2-pack was worth the money. So, really do like the Spider-Man figure. Okay, now if we take a look at the Vulture, and he's probably the only figure out of the 4 that comes with an accessory. This Vulture, I noticed, is real different from the previous Vulture figure that I have. So, before I go into any more detail about this figure specifically, the most important thing that you're going to want to notice is the head sculpt. So I have, here he is, the previous Vulture figure that I did a review on. And this is, it's supposed to be the 6-inch kids line, but these figures stand at about 5 inches tall. The head sculpts are completely different. I was shocked because now I have no idea which Vulture are we getting in the movie. Is it both? Or I'm just not quite sure. But I thought the variation was definitely interesting. You can see between the two vultures, um, it's not just the sculpt, it's also in the paint. So we see a lot more detail on the 4-inch Vulture than we do the 6-inch version. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Um, but overall, I feel like this Vulture, our 4-inch Vulture, is going to be the one that we see in the film. And this is just a cheaper version, kids version, that is supposed to look something like what we see in the film. Now taking a closer look, again, just like with Spider-Man, the attention to detail on this Vulture is incredible. And I love all the paint apps, especially the gold. Really, really liking it. I mean, you can see it just in the little parts, but I mean, really makes a difference. And those feet are super awesome. Huge feet. Um, Probably really good for some poses or some pictures. Have him pick up Spider-Man by the shoulders. Definitely cool. Alright, so if we take a look at Vulture's articulation real quick, we've got movement in the head, kind of stiff, but it's there, up and down, side to side. Movement in the shoulders, up and down, side to side. Movement in the elbow, up and down, side to side. No waist articulation, no ab crunch. Movement in the hips, up and down, although it's hindered a little bit by his side pouch here, but it does go up and down and just a little bit side to side. We have double jointed knees, so that's great, real good for posing. And we have movement in the ankles, just up and down. Oh wow, and we have ankle rocker pivot. Very, very nice. Alright, now if we take a look at Vulture's wings, when I first saw these, I thought it was just plastic, and I thought, man, it would be great if we had some articulation. Lo and behold, there is articulation in these wings. They do move up and down. So you can have Vulture, you know, landing and flying. We've got some peg holes right there. Should attach nice and easy. And it does. Clicks right into place. The wingspan is incredible. Much larger compared to the original Vulture. I feel like these wings are just small for such a big figure. But this looks fantastic. And so we can have them with the landed wings, the wings up. I just think it looks fantastic. Definitely got my money's worth for this 2-pack, Spider-Man and Vulture. I cannot recommend the 2-pack enough. Okay, so now on to the comic book versions, Spider-Man and Vulture. First taking a look at the Spider-Man. This figure is really, really buff. There's no other way to put it. I'm not sure what they were thinking in the sculpting, if they were going for the classic look. The first Spider-Man was a little bit more built as opposed to the Ultimate Spider-Man who's in high school. So I definitely see that. Interesting figure. Really like the colors. Very vibrant. Unfortunately, however, there are a few things that I dislike about this figure. The waist or ab crunch, for me, is just a little bit awkward. And then there's no fixing the hand here. It's stuck in this bent position. Why that is, I have no idea. And the feet are a little bit small, so it makes the figure a little bit difficult to stand up. And then my figure was a little warped in the packaging here, on his knees. So keep in mind when you're looking for this 2-pack in the stores, and I've got the same problem with my Vulture too. Both figures are a little bit warped. So hopefully some hot water trick should fix that. But for right now, let's take a look at Spider-Man's articulation. We've got movement in the head. It's on a ball joint, so it goes up and down, side to side. Pretty good. We've got movement in the shoulder, up and down, side to side. We've got movement in the bicep, which is great. Didn't have that on the other Spider-Man. We've got movement in the elbow, not double jointed. And we've got movement at the wrist. Our ab crunch, a little bit odd, but it is there. We do get waist articulation here, so that's fantastic. Movement in the hip, up and down, side to side with a cut. Movement in the knee, double jointed, fantastic. No, oh yes, we do. There is a boot cut. It's just a little difficult to make out, but yes, there is a boot cut. And we do have movement in the ankle on a rocker pivot. So that's great. All in all, Spider-Man's okay. He's not the best figure in comparison with some of the other figures that we got, like the Vulture and classic Spider-Man from the movie. But nonetheless, it's a figure that I'm happy to have and add to my collection. If we move on to Shocker, this figure was kind of a shock for me. Not the figure I was hoping to get. Maybe it's just a personal issue, but my Shocker had a really, really big problem in the box. His leg is warped so bad. I don't even know what to say about it. Something's wrong in the ankle. I don't know if you guys can tell. But I tried fixing it, couldn't. So I'm just forced with having a Shocker that's a little difficult to stand and a little awkward to pose. Yeah, see, like right now I can't even get him to stand. Aside from that, the paint is great. The likeness to the Ultimate Comics is great. Really dig the belt buckle. But yeah, guys, this is Shocker. And I've actually never had a Shocker figure before this one, so I've got nothing to compare it to. Just taking a look, thinking they're drawing from this Shocker figure, it's going to be something like this that we're going to get in the movie. At least with the gauntlets, I would assume it's going to look something like this in the Ultimate Spider-Man movie. So the detail's good. I really do like the paint. I think it really helps the figure. If we look at the articulation real quick for our Shocker figure, movement in the head, up and down, side to side. We have movement in the shoulder, up and down, in and out. Movement at the elbow, up and down, side to side, not double jointed. No movement in the wrist, which would be kind of difficult based on the sculpt, so it's not necessary. We have no ab crunch and no waist articulation. Kind of a bummer. We have movement in the legs, the hip, up and down, side to side. A little bit hindered because of the sculpt here. I'm not sure why, but it is. And then we have movement in the knee. It is double jointed. And we have movement in the ankle, which is, I'm not sure, really quite weird the way it is situated. Why there's so much space at the back of the ankle, I have no idea, but for my warped leg, it's not looking so great. So I can't advise enough that you guys definitely pay close attention. If you're going to get the Shocker Spider-Man 2-pack, really pay close attention to whether or not these figures are warped. Unfortunately, there was only one of each at the Target where I was, So I just got the both of them because I didn't have any other options. Alright, now let's do a quick size comparison. So here's a quick size comparison for our Spider-Man figure from the Vulture 2-pack. Standing next to him is the 5-inch figure from the kids line for Homecoming. Amazing Spider-Man #1, the 4-inch figure, and the Marvel Legends Spider-Man from Civil War. So you can see our 4-inch figure stands at about 4 inches tall. Looks pretty good. Alright, so Vulture is taller than Spider-Man, which makes sense. Spider-Man being in high school, I think the size comparison is pretty accurate between the two of them. And compared with some of the other MCU legends, you can see in the 4-inch scale, Spider-Man is just a little bit taller, a little bit of a bigger figure compared with Thor. With Iron Man, looks like the scale is pretty good, and Winter Soldier is just a little bit of a shorter figure. Altogether, they don't look so bad at all. So taking a look at our comic book versions of Shocker and Spider-Man, they look like they're in pretty good scale with the rest of the 4-inch Marvel Legends from the comic versions. As you can see, Spider-Man looks like he is in scale with Vision and Yondu, and he's just a little bit taller than Miss Marvel. Shocker looks like he's in pretty good scale with Daredevil and Captain Marvel, and he's also just a little bit taller than Miss Marvel. So they look pretty good all together. The figures, their color pops, so it looks really great when you line them all up together. So I definitely recommend both of these if you're looking to add more to your comic book versions of 4-inch Legends. All in all, I really do like these figures. Vulture and Spider-Man are a must-have. And definitely get Shocker and Spider-Man from the comic versions if it's something that you're looking forward to having as part of a big collection for Spider-Man figures from this movie. Alright YouTube, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate all the support, likes, comments. You guys are amazing. Thank you for all the support, especially on my last video. You guys rock, and I'll keep the videos coming with more new stuff. Stay tuned.